News about BTS's Jungkook seems to never run out of space to talk about. But this time the spotlight is not on the magnificent stage, the golden voice, or the music record he broke, but on the one thing that actually leaves many people speechless: the way Jungkook prepares his future so thoroughly. Even Jimin, a friend and fellow member of his group, was called to take off his hat to see the steps Jungkook took behind the scenes. Not an impulsive decision, not a glamorous lifestyle without direction, but a tacit but impactful investment strategy. In the midst of an entertainment world full of uncertainty, Jungkook appears as a different figure. From a very young age, he has known the meaning of responsibility, not only as an idol, but also as the backbone of his own future. Many idols choose to enjoy the peak of popularity with ostentatious luxury, but Jungkook instead takes a quieter path. He laid out the foundations, one after another, with a thorough calculation that is rarely known to the public. This is where Jimin's admiration begins. That on various unofficial occasions, Jimin was known as an outspoken and honest figure. When he watched how Jungkook managed his income, how he postponed momentary pleasures in favor of long-term plans, the respect grew naturally. Jungkook doesn't just think of himself as a top-notch artist, but as a man who is aware that a career in the entertainment industry has a time limit. It is this awareness that makes his investment move feel very mature for his age. The investment in question is not just following trends or talkative following the advice of people around. Jungkook is known to be very selective and cautious. He studied the risks, considered the long-term value, and most importantly, made sure that what he built today would still stand strong decades down the line. Property is one of the options that most steal attention, not because of its sheer luxury, but because of the philosophy behind it. For Jungkook, property is not a symbol of show-off, but a symbol of stability. The house and assets he owns are said to be designed with a very personal concept. Not excessive, not noisy, and far from the impression of a spotlight-hungry idol. This is what makes many people surprised. While the public imagines Jungkook living in infinite glitter, the reality is that he chooses tranquility and security. He understands that property is not only a place to live, but also an asset whose value continues to grow, as well as a safe space for himself and his family. Jimin, who saw firsthand Jungkook's process and thoughts, couldn't hide his admiration. He realized that his best friend was not only working hard in front of the camera, but also working smart behind the scenes. Jungkook did not leave his future to luck or popularity alone. It builds systems, prepares solutions, and ensures that no matter what happens in the future, it stays on its own feet. What makes this story even more interesting is the fact that Jungkook doesn't talk much about it. No bombastic interviews, no show-off uploads. Everything was quiet, almost secret. It is precisely from this silence that a deep respect arises from those closest to him. Jimin sees that consistency as evidence of tremendous emotional maturity. In an age where many people are still searching for their identity, Jungkook is already thinking about the sustainability of his life. This investment move also reflects the wounds and lessons of the past. Jungkook is known as a figure who grew up with economic awareness from an early age. He understands how it feels to have no certainty, and that experience shaped the way he thinks today. Every financial decision is not just about numbers, but about security. It's about making sure that his family doesn't have to worry, about making sure that he doesn't get caught up in a cycle of industrial dependency. In No wonder Jimin called Jungkook a person who is different from what he looks like on camera. Behind the cheerful and energetic image of Magne, very serious and calculating thoughts are stored. Jungkook is able to balance two worlds that often collide: the world of fast-paced entertainment and the world of investment that demands patience. It is this balance that is rarely possessed, even by those who are older and experienced. For fans, this story brings a new perspective. Jungkook is not only an idol who inspires through songs and performances, but also through a way of life. He shows that true success doesn't stop at applause and the spotlight. True success is when a person is able to protect his own future. And at this point, Jungkook stood very firmly. Jimin, who witnessed it all up close, could only admit, with genuine pride, that Jungkook had surpassed many people's expectations, not just as a global artist, but as a forward-thinking individual. The investments he makes are not just financial transactions, but a statement of attitude about how he views life. This story is a reminder that behind every great idol, there are small decisions that determine the direction of their lives. Jungkook chose a path that did not always look attractive from the outside, but was very strong from the inside. And when Jimin took his hat off, it wasn't an empty compliment. It was a recognition of hard work unseen, of vision rarely possessed, and of the courage to think about the future when many are still lulled by the present. In the end, Jungkook again proved that he is not just going with the flow. He creates his own path. And through the investment he chose, he is writing a long chapter on how an idol can grow into a full-fledged person, independent and ready for whatever comes. A valuable lesson that made many people, not just Jimin, take their hats off. Jimin's admiration for Jungkook did not stop at numbers or assets. Deeper than that, Jimin sees a mindset that idols of their age rarely have. Jungkook does not view money as a tool to show status, but rather as a means to create freedom. The freedom to choose, the freedom to rest when tired, and the freedom to stay alive are worth it even when the spotlight someday dims. This way of thinking is what makes Jimin feel Jungkook is one step ahead. In the Korean entertainment industry, there are many stories about artists who shine brightly at a young age, but then have difficulty maintaining the stability of their lives. Jungkook is very aware of that reality. He sees examples, he hears stories, and he learns without having to experience it himself. Every investment decision he makes is always accompanied by one big question. Is this still useful for me 10 or 20 years from now? A simple question, but rarely really seriously thought out by those who are still at the peak of popularity. Jungkook's relationship with Jimin also makes the story feel more emotional. Jimin is not just a coworker, but a witness to Jungkook's journey from trainee to global star. He knows very well how Jungkook used to be a very focused figure in training, barely thinking about anything other than music and performance. But over time, Jimin noticed significant changes. Jungkook began to be calmer, more structured, and more aware of life outside the stage. This change is not due to loss of spirit, but to increased maturity. Jungkook's chosen investment also reflects his personal character that does not like excessive risk. He is interested in slow cooking, stand-up comedy, guitar playing, reading, and swimming. Instead, he chooses a pace that may seem slow, but consistent. Jimin realized that this kind of patience is not easy to have, especially by someone who is daily surrounded by quick opportunities and great temptations. It is precisely because of this that respect arises by itself. Interestingly, Jungkook rarely talks about all this even to the public. He doesn't feel the need to seek validation or praise. For him, results are the best answer. It is this attitude that often makes people misunderstand. Many thought Jungkook was just enjoying life as a successful idol, even though behind the scenes he was setting up a safety net for himself. Jimin, who knows a small part of the process, feels that Jungkook deserves more recognition for his intelligence in managing life. For the army and the public, the continuation of this story opens up a more human side of Jungkook. He is not only a laughing magne, not only a perfect performer, but also an individual who once worried about the future. He does not allow fear to grow into fear, but he turns it into action. Investment becomes Jungkook's tacit language to say that he is in charge of his own life. Jimin once implied that seeing Jungkook like this actually motivated him personally. It's not about envy or competition, but reflection. He saw how someone younger than him was able to think that far, and it became a reminder that success should not let anyone off guard. In silence, Jungkook set an example, and Jimin captured the message very clearly.